Hello. Sorry about that start there, but first off, I'd like to introduce myself. My name's Ash. I'm transgender, and for those of you who don't know what that means, um, or what it even is, basically it means that I don't identify with the gender that I was assigned with at birth. Um, you know how you're a man or a woman and there's no urge for you to try to be the other gender. You just inherently know that that's who you are. And for me, that feeling doesn't exist. I have an internal struggle whenever I think female, she, girl. There's an internal struggle. It just does not feel right. So internally, I feel masculine, male. But physically, obviously, I am female. So, hence, transgender. Um, so, basically, what this video is about is just opening your eyes to my world, basically. And just telling you a little bit about me, just so you can maybe relate a little bit more. I've experienced these feelings as far back as I can remember. Since there are stories I can tell of my childhood, fights between friends, my brothers. Everyone has gotten into on account of addressing me the wrong way. Fights with my mom over clothing choices and instances of small joys when someone mistook me for a little boy, or I got to play outside without a shirt. There are people in this world who would deem this as a choice. Who would say that I have actively made the decision to change my gender, to not identify as female. And to them, just like anybody saying that to any other part of the LGBT community, I have no idea how you could even remotely come to that conclusion, because if you think for 5 seconds, you would see how illogical that is. Why would anybody actively choose to make their lives the harder one? It's not like we walk outside and are greeted with open arms and everybody's just accepting us willingly. There are people who are beaten nearly half to death or killed over over what you say is a choice, over something that they can't change. Why would I choose to put myself in a line of fire like that? Why would I choose to actively step in front of a loaded gun? That doesn't make any sense to me. No one would actively choose the hardest choice. No one would purposely put themselves, anybody in the LGBT community who has struggled with their identity, has struggled with their sexuality, has struggled with internal feelings, none of them would actively go, let me choose to make my life harder. I think a good majority of us would choose to have these feelings go away so we can live what you would deem as a normal life. So we wouldn't have to have these feelings. So we wouldn't have to wake up with this internal struggle every day. So we wouldn't have problems with affection. So we wouldn't have problems with our family. We would choose the easier route. Anybody would. The path of least resistance. And do you ever remember a scenario where you've actively chosen your gender? Did you wake up one day and go, I'm a guy. I've chosen that for myself. I'm a dude. Or I'm a female. I've chosen that for myself. Or let's say right now, make the decision right now to be something else. Just do it. For a day, just be like, I'm going to be a girl for the day. Just make that choice. Go outside, tell everybody, and just dress up as a girl. Make that choice. You can't do it. There's something internal that's going on with these people. And for somebody to say this is an actual choice, it's mind-boggling to me. It doesn't make any sense. People will speak to you in a way that are just fucking insulting. I mean, I'm just run in circles, but basically nobody would choose the harder life for themselves. Who would choose, a scenario like that? I don't know. I feel like most of the bullshit levied against the LGBT community sounds silly once you just take 5 seconds to just think about it. A lot of the bullshit that they're saying, just 5 seconds, just think about it logically for 5 seconds, and it doesn't make a lot of fucking sense. It requires you to think all the way through to be able to make these judgments, and it kind of seems like these bullshit stipulations and stereotypes and stuff that people are putting on the LGBT community, it seems like they kind of thought halfway, and just once it fit in line with what they wanted, they stopped. They didn't think about anything else. They didn't refute. They didn't even consider anything that was counterproductive to what they were going on. They didn't say. They stopped right there. They didn't think it all the way through. Honestly, that's just what I think. Because whenever I hear something, I'm able to fucking go, well, here's a counterpoint to your argument. Every single time. There's not been a time where I've heard somebody against the LGBT community say something and I'm like, I have nothing to bring back to that. Unless it was completely off the wall. Like, it's just like they're like, as soon as it starts, you know, it stops making sense, you know, stop thinking about it, you know? You know, wouldn't want to ruin somebody's shitty perspective on life. And, you know, we know all about the bullshit and all the you know, youth that are on the streets, transgender people who have to sell their bodies to be able to live, people getting dirty ass needles sharing around just to be able to get their hormones because they don't have, you know, the funds or the means, or you know how fucking hard it is to find a therapist that is specifically for gender, you know, and somebody who can help you with those steps, because you need a therapist. You need letters. You need to jump through fucking hoops just to be fucking happy in this goddamn world if you're transgender. Like, we know about it. Or you know a good portion of it. Or you just heard me fucking rant about it. And I'm sorry to say, a lot of the fucking pain that I see and a lot of the pain that I have dealt with has come from the religious community. They seem to think that just because... I just think that they feel like their personal beliefs, and that's what the fuck it is, a personal ass fucking belief, is law. That everybody in the entirety of the world has to follow this personal ass belief. If I believe everybody should be walking around with a purple fucking shirt on, does that mean I get to go over there and harass anybody that's not wearing a purple fucking shirt? No, it's a personal fucking belief. And that's why I call bullshit with a lot of the fucking bullshit. With a lot of the religious bullshit. I can't tell you how many times someone has told me they fucking pray for me after they've heard that I'm transgender. As if that in and of itself isn't fucking insulting. Like, here, let me pray for you, you sick and pathetic person. Here, let me pray for you so you'll fix your fucking mind. Here, let me pray for you because I'm an inconsiderate jerk. Like, that's all it is. I've had somebody look at me with pity. After I've said I was going through my transition and I was happy, I was fucking ecstatic. And they looked at me with pity and said, oh, honey, I'll pray for you. And then expected me to be like, thank you. And when I walked away and had a problem with what, you know, they said, they actively got offended. Because I didn't thank them for their bullshit ass, passive aggressive ass insult. Like, I don't understand that. It's ridiculous. That level of bullshit is okay. Like, if I were to come at somebody at that same passive-aggressive bullshit, they would have cussed my ass out. Why is it only okay for you to do it because it's a religious backing, because it's in the name of God? You're allowed to be a dick. Like, I just don't get that. Like, why are you having that sad face if you're wishing me well? Like, and I hear that too. Like, oh, they were just wishing you well. Don't take offense to that. Like, bullshit. Nobody looks at somebody with pity and then wishes them well. That's not how it fucking works. You don't sadly stare at somebody and, oh, baby, I'll pray for you. Like, no. You weren't wishing me the fuck well. You were praying for me so I'll change my sick mind. Bitch, if I could change my sick mind, do you think I'd be fucking sitting right here ranting in a YouTube video? No. Like, I don't want to play your religious game. I don't fucking want any fucking of it. I don't want it. I don't want it. You can take it, put it in a bag, and you can sell it at the shit store. Because I don't fucking want it. Just take it, pack it up, wrap it in a, you know, little gift wrap, and then take it to the shit store. Just don't bring it here. Because I don't want it. Like, the bullshit doesn't even stop there. Like, even though the AMA has ruled sexual reassignment surgery a non-cosmetic procedure in the grounds of mental health, People still find the need to call it such. I have tried to fundraise for my own top surgery, and I've had nothing but wondrous support, but I've also had a couple of bigots come to me and tell me that it is wrong for me to be saving up this money to get a top surgery. It is wrong for me to want to change my body, that maybe I should change my self-image so that I am more comfortable with my breasts instead of wanting to remove them. Now, this is the same person that spends hours of the day in the fucking salon. Now, if she can't go ahead and put highlights and all this bullshit in her hair and spend $100 a fucking week on her hair to get it where she's fucking happy about herself, why the fuck can I do whatever the fuck I want to do with my own fucking body to make myself happy with myself? Ain't that the same fucking thing? Why is it different just because it's your fucking hair and it's my fucking tits? I don't get that shit. And why the fuck do you care what I do with my fucking body? What, am I gonna lob a tit at your fucking front door? No. You could just deal with your fucking self and I can deal with myself and we ain't gotta interact and nobody's fucking mad. Like, I don't get why you have to dictate what the fuck's going on with my life, but whatever, I'm goddamn fucking ranting. But anyway, insurance companies still have the choice whether or not they're gonna cover the surgery on the basis of cosmetic or not. And in my search to find out if my own insurance company covered it, I went and actually, just out of curiosity, I went and I think I found a page that had a whole bunch of companies listed that does cover the surgery. And it had a lot of companies that didn't at the bottom of the page. And a lot of the companies that didn't, there was very, very few that did opposite of this. But a lot of the companies that did not sponsor it or cover it, labeled it as cosmetic, despite the AMA's ruling. And I think that's fucking ridiculous. I feel like if the AMA has ruled something, then that should be universal. That should be insurance companies, you gotta fucking listen to it. I don't care what the fuck your personal ass belief is, you have to cover it. And I just don't, it's another, rant from another day with companies and being people and having their own personal issues, because I run a freelance art business. It may not be big. I might draw, 5 fucking shit in the course of 6 months for my friends, but it's still a fucking business. And at no point am I going, I hate that person, I'm not going to deal with them. And I'm not saying companies don't have the opportunity to do so, but I'm not fucking doing that. More money, for me. Why the fuck am I going to discriminate? You giving me money? Let's be friends. Like, I don't understand what the fucking problem with that is. Like, people don't realize how absolutely awful it is just being alive without any poking or prodding from the rest of the world. Just, like, if it was just me, nobody else in the world existed, I have enough of a fucking problem just waking up in the morning. And then to have to deal with all this bullshit. Like, I don't understand why people have to fucking just come at you like that. Like, this video is coming like a rant instead of an actual video. But whatever. But, we're trapped in bodies that make us feel like freaks. I have a lot of fucking problems with affection. Something I've actually gone to therapy for. It's hard for me to touch other people. It's hard for me to be touched. It's extremely nerve-wracking for me to even have somebody just put their hand on my shoulder. Just because my body isn't the way I want it to be. Hugging means I'm pressing up against a part of my body that I don't like. Just simple ass shit that you wouldn't even think about. Bugs the hell out of me. We're trapped in these bodies and we're actively reminded of them daily. Just think about it. Having a growth or a mole or a blemish or an arm coming out of your head that you not only had to deal with, but it was socially acceptable for people to address you according to it. Like calling you arm face if you had an arm coming out of your head, and that's just who you are, and that's completely, totally okay, that's normal, people do that, and that's socially acceptable to you, to the world, you feel awful, constantly reminded of something that you don't even want there, or you don't even like. Like, that's pretty much my life, every day, when I hear someone go, hey man, hey, that's a girl over there, like, I have to deal with that. Um, you just have to be, and then you have to deal with people just being super head in the clouds about it, being fucking aloof about it, but apparently hate you enough to bestow you with this bullshit that you want to change, but apparently this random guy in the cloud doesn't want you to change, but he wants you to also be happy. Like, I don't understand that from the religious folks too. God wants you to be happy, but he doesn't want you to change your body. Because by doing so, apparently that's just saying he's wrong. And I'm sorry, but if an all-powerful being really took offense to somebody measly like me lopping off a boob, we gotta do something about this shit here, because I don't want to be following that guy. That seems a little bit fucking petty to me. Just to me. If y'all cool with following somebody that want to act like that, go ahead and do it. Like, whatever. You have to deal with that fucking shit. You have to deal with constantly people telling you that don't do anything. God made you just the way he wanted you to make you. And fuck science and fuck all this other bullshit. God did this right and he's always right and you just gotta live with it even though you're miserable. But God loves you and wants you to be happy. But keep on being miserable in that body that you hate. Let me go and get my nose job. Like, it's I love you, but be miserable, because that's the thing that people who love you say. That doesn't make any sense to me, and it's never made any sense to me. And religious people will fucking spout that shit here until Tuesday to a transgender person who is ready to fucking change. Like, sorry, I wanted to be fucking happy. I don't understand that. And I'm honestly tired of being made to feel bad, just because I was born a little fucking differently than the next guy. Or because some fuckhead who doesn't understand it just can't say fuck you, but fuck it, I don't get it, but whatever makes you the fuck happy, like, I don't understand what's so hard about that. I do that on a freaking daily basis. I do it with religious folk. I'm not religious, but whatever fucking makes you happy. I'm not about to sit here and treat you badly because you believe something that I don't fucking believe. Like, I don't get that. And it's a fucking weird concept. I get it. And I'm not going to sit here and be like, everybody on the planet should understand it. I'm going to tell you right here, there's a lot of fucking people who are watching this video right now who are goddamn as supportive and supportive and accepting as possible, who just does not understand the concept. They cannot wrap their heads around not identifying with the sex they were born at. But guess what? They're still awesome enough to go, I don't understand you, but I want to understand you. They'll ask questions. They'll come to me. Now, I am open as shit. I will answer any TMI question you have, just because I feel like bigotry and prejudice a lot of times is rooted in fear. Fear a lot of times is rooted in the unknown. Not knowing something, not knowing enough about something. So people try to cope by demonizing what they fear. And I feel like if I am more open with what I've got going on, then it alleviates a lot of the fear. A lot of people don't have a transgender buddy who they can ask, why you put that in your pants? They don't have a lot of transgender people who they can ask, can I ask this of that transgender person right there? And not get punched in the face, And I feel like that's what, me personally, I'm not going to sit here and say every transgender person should go out and be an activist, but I feel like that's what I'm going to do with myself and my journey. But it's a weird concept. And I do this just because I know it's a weird concept. I know people who don't live that life aren't going to be able to wrap their heads around. But it's my fucking life. I deal with the complicated nonsense. I deal with people calling me ma'am. I deal with the fact that I hate my goddamn first name and I want to get it changed. And until it's changed, I have people who have directly told me until my name gets legally changed, they will continue to call me by Ashley instead of Ash. And as they get ignored. And then they wonder why I ignore them. Whatever. But, I wake up every day feeling weird as shit. I wake up every day and I see a man and I'm like, I wish I could be you. That never happens. I never wake up and go, this is normal. I totally feel like a normal ass person in a fucking normal ass body. That has never, literally never, ever happened for me. And it's sad, but it's the life that I lead. And, you know, I deal with every day, like, your chest is showing too much through your shirt. You know how many times a day I'm in my work just adjusting my binder, doing this in the mirror, going sideways, doing flat checks, you know? That's what I call them, my friends, a flat check. You know, I'm constantly rearranging myself. And my face, a lot of times, if I wear my hair long, which I do, I like my hair long, I don't care. Guys wear fucking long hair, fuck you. You know how many white guys I've seen out there with long ass hair? You want to tell me I can't have my long ass hair? Fuck you. And, you know, I can't do very much about this, but I change. And I constantly it's constantly checking, rechecking, and rechecking, and feeling dysphoric, which is, look that shit up, is a constant feeling, and it sucks. Feeling fucking weird in your goddamn body. And it's just awful. You feel gross. You're constantly reminded there are boobs underneath you. Girly face, girly hair, girly, everybody sees girl. Your lifestyle can be as dude as possible, still sees girls. Unless it's, you know, best fucking friends and shit, you know, but I still walk around every day and hear, ma'am, at work, ma'am, miss. Like, you know, it's weird as shit, you know. But, you know, we deal with it. We keep moving on, and we keep holding our heads up, despite the bullshit. And even though my video has turned into nothing but me ranting and going off of my script is right here, and I've completely gone off the script. Even though it's been nothing but that, I hope I've answered some questions. If not, you know, my inbox is completely open. I don't care who you are. I don't care if I don't know you. Send me a message. You know, let me know, hey, I have a question about your journey, your transition, and your gender identity. And I will seriously not take offense to the most TMI question. As long as you're asking and you're coming from a general place of curiosity, and you're not just being a passive-aggressive douche, and you're not being an asshole, of course I'll answer. You know, how do you have sex? What does your boyfriend think about it? What do you do when you go to the bathroom? Like, I'll answer it. Just, I'd rather you come to me and answer and ask questions than be mean and belittle and judgmental, because, you know, I have feelings too. I'm a big goofball and I love my friends and I like joking around. You can see my goddamn room, fucking Sonic the Hedgehog, weird furry shit right there. I don't know what that is. My Little Pony, the hat. There's some Minecraft. It's a mess over there. Don't look at the TV. It's messy. You know, fucking all this. There's a fursuit right there. Look like. Oh, okay, whatever. But, you know, I'm a big nerd, and I'm just, you know, here to just have fun and chill. And you cool with me, I'm cool with you. And, you know, so have a good rest of your convention, everybody. And I hope this was interesting.